have these problems. They didn't know about these problems. And I don't know what went on. Millions of people coming in, and what's happening in Germany is unbelievable. What's happening in Paris is unbelievable. And I'm not talking about the attack. I'm talking very simply about Paris is not the same place. It's not the same place. And we better get smart. We allowed two people, right? We better get smart. No, we got to get smart. And, you know, I've taken the attack. First of all, when I announced, I came very, very strongly against illegal immigration. Did I take heat? Rush Limbaugh, everybody said, never has anybody received so much incoming. And I understood, believe me, I didn't know. I said, is it going to be like this for 6 months? That's a lot for 6 months. Within 2 weeks, all of a sudden, people are saying, well, you know, he's got a point. And then they had beautiful Kate in San Francisco, and she was killed, shot in the back by somebody came in, 5 or 6 or 7, they have no idea times. I wonder whether or not he was pushed in because they didn't want it and they're smarter. You know, their leaders, Mexico, China, all over, the leaders are smarter, more cunning than our leaders, and they do things to us that we don't even know is happening. But all of a sudden, Kate, she's killed. Jamil in Los Angeles is killed. A veteran, a woman, 66 years old, raped, sodomized, and killed a few weeks ago in Los Angeles by an illegal immigrant. And this is 3 instances all over, all over. Not even to mention the jobs and the economy and all of the other things that are happening. So we have to get smart. And what happened there is all of a sudden people are saying, you know, Trump might be right. He might be right. Now they're all saying Trump is right. Now illegal immigration, what's true? If I didn't bring up illegal immigration, you wouldn't even be talking about it today, folks. I brought it up. I took a lot of heat, and then people are realizing what a big problem it is now. We're going to have a border. It's going to be a very strong border. We're going to have a wall, because walls do work when they're real walls. We're going to build a wall. Mexico's going to pay for the wall because they make a fortune. Mexico's making a fortune. I respect Mexico. I have thousands of Hispanics that work for me. Over the years, I have tens of thousands of people working for me. But I have thousands of Hispanics, thousands. In Nevada, just recently, I won the poll. Hispanics are voting for Trump, and I said that was going to happen. The people that are here legally, the Hispanics that are here legally, they're voting for me. And I've been saying this, and then all of a sudden the announcer says, I can't believe this. This is really surprising. I easily won in Nevada with the Hispanics. And I'm going to win a lot of places with the Hispanics. African Americans are with Trump. They're going to be with Trump. The relationship I have with the African Americans is great. And actually, one poll came out at 25%. And this is for the Republican Party, which is a very unusual number, because usually it's 5%, 4%, 6%, maybe 7%. They say, wait a minute. If Trump gets 25% of the African-American vote, the election's over. He wins. He wins. You know, he wins. Because they're smart. They know I'm bringing jobs back from China. I'm going to bring jobs from Mexico. I'm going to take our jobs back. We're going to start making things. You know, Newton, Iowa, I was very much involved with Newton a number of years ago. He was on 60 Minutes, and I saw what was happening. You know that, right? And I helped a lot of people in Newton, and I just thought, I was watching 60 Minutes. I felt so badly where people are moving to Mexico for the most part. Companies are moving out. And Newton was treated very unfairly. And that's one community, but we have communities all over the country that are being treated unfairly. And frankly, you know, we have corporate inversions where companies are now going to move out of the United States. They're going to leave the jobs behind. They're going to other places all over the world. Pfizer's moving to, can you believe it? They're moving to Ireland. They're going to leave thousands and thousands of jobs. $2.5 trillion right now is offshore. It's outside of the United States. I think the number is actually much bigger than that. You know, when the government gives you numbers, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. They don't. No, it's true. They don't know what they're talking about. I think it's actually, you know, you can't get the money back in. So they have money sitting outside of this country. Everybody agrees, Democrats and Republicans, that it should come back in and use it for jobs and things in this country. They can't bring it back in. They can't agree. So they agree, but they can't sit down around a table and get it done. Everybody agrees it should come back in. They can't do it because we have lack of leadership. We have a president that's not a leader. So now what's happening, not a leader. So now what's happening is companies are moving out of the country to get their money and to get lower taxes and other things. My tax plan, by the way, was put in, got great reviews. We're lowering the hell out of the taxes for businesses and for the middle class. We're going to lower it. And we're also simplifying the system. You're not going to need H&R Block anymore and give them half of the money you have. We're going to simplify the system. It's going to be so simple. But your taxes are going way, way down. And the middle class has been forgotten about in this country. It's been totally forgotten about. The farmers have been forgotten about, if you think about it. No, I mean, I know farmers. I have some great friends that are farmers. You know, when somebody dies in the family, when they die, they can't pass things on because they're sort of rich, but not necessarily in cash. And they have to pay so much estate tax that they have to sell the farm in order to survive. And if they hit the wrong cycle or the wrong timing, they can't sell the farm, they end up losing everything. So we're going to change that. We're going to change the whole estate tax thing. It's not fair. And farmers in particular. It's not fair. So, and one thing I have to also say, look, I know a lot of people on Wall Street funding my campaign. I don't need any of their money, so I couldn't care less, okay? I couldn't care less. I couldn't care less. And I will tell you, every single other candidate, other than me, is getting tremendous. You see the money they take it in? Now, I'll tell you, I'm good at that. You know, I've always taken in money. I like money. I'm very greedy. I'm a greedy person. I shouldn't tell you that. I've always been greedy. I love money, right? I take in a lot. I've made a lot of money. If you would have told me when I was at the Wharton School of Finance that I would have done what I've been able to do, I wouldn't have believed it. But I built an unbelievable company, very, very little debt, tremendous, some of the greatest assets in the world, tremendous cash flow, tremendous cash sitting there. I filed my papers, you know, with the federal elections. Everyone said, well, maybe he's not as rich as we think, so maybe he'll never file. But I filed. In fact, I would have filed if I didn't run because I want to brag. I love to brag, all right? But the truth is, in business, and it's okay, in business you want to be a little bit greedy, so I'm greedy. I want to give all that up. I don't care. You know, my kids, Ivanka, good kid. They're all good kids. They'll run it. I have great executives. They'll run it. It's easy. It's going to be easy. But you know what? I want to be greedy for our country. I want to be greedy. I want to be so greedy. I want to be greedy for our country. I want to take back money. You know, we owe right now, Japan, $1.5 trillion. They have our debt. China, $1.7 trillion. You know what it is? Trillion. Think of it. Japan comes in, they sell us cars, they make a fortune, millions of cars. They devalued the hell out of their currency over the last couple of years, by the way, just so you know. It's very hard to compete with them. You just have to ask Caterpillar Tractor about that. Caterpillar Tractor is having a very hard time competing with the yen because they devalue the yen. The dollar goes up, the yen goes down. They can't compete. They can't compete. Look what's happening to Caterpillar. Look at John Deere. I love John Deere. You know, I'm one of the larger customers of John Deere. You don't even know that. I buy millions of dollars of stuff. I buy millions. I would say over the years, I mean, I think the number's even low, but way over $10 million worth of John. Who knows that about Trump, right? But I buy a lot of stuff, tractors all over the place, and the product is great. But it's tough when an American company has to compete with other countries that manipulate their currency, like Japan, like China, like other places. Okay, Vietnam, watch Vietnam. They are doing a number. But these countries are totally, they couldn't care less about us. You know, we want to do something that's good for the world, the global warming, good for the world. Watch Obama talking about the carbon footprint, and then he flies over to Hawaii in an old 747 with the old engine, spewing the hell out of it. And then he gives a speech about global warming and the carbon footprint. No, think of it. Think of it. No, think of it. And he's played a lot of golf. He's played more than most PGA touring professionals play. Seriously, he's played a lot of golf, but he was over there for a long time. But think of it, gets into Air Force One, which is a very old Boeing 747 with the old, really big engines. And if you're a believer in carbon footprint, you don't like this, right? I mean, how many people believe in the carbon footprint? Ah, I'm shocked. I'm shocked. I was just given a bill. I flew my plane into a certain location. They sent me a bill for $2,200, a carbon tax. I said, what a scam. What kind of a scam is this? And my plane's a good plane. I mean, it's efficient. But think of it. Flies a 747 to Hawaii and back. And then he gets up and gives a speech about global warming. You know, give me a break. I mean, there's not one person in the whole room that talks about carbon. Okay, look, we're going to protect you. Nobody's going to attack you. Seriously, who believes in the carbon footprint? One. Oh, Al Gore. And you know where he is now, right? Two. You believe in it? Two. Okay. So 2 people out of 1,700. I'm with the 1,700. Okay. All right. I thought it would be more than that. I mean, I thought it would be more than that. But I think, you know, if you're going to play the game, you got to play the game. Okay. So, and you can't be doing what he's doing. So anyway, so on some of these numbers. So Reuters, Trump 41.1, Cruz 16. Think of that. Carson 12. Oh, poor Jeb. He's way down. Wow. He spent $68 million on his campaign. I won't even tell you what his number is. It's so ridiculous. Okay, think of this. Fox last night came out with a poll, a nationwide poll. Trump 35, Cruz 20, Rubio 13, and the rest are all quite low. That's good. But here's one that I loved. Trump versus Hillary Clinton. Has anyone heard of Hillary Clinton? Has anyone heard of Hillary Clinton? Oh, it's so terrible what Mr. Trump is saying. I don't like his tone. We have people, their heads are being chopped off all over the Middle East. She's worried about tone. We need tone, believe me. We need tone. We're tired of these politicians, these weak. I'll tell you what, I'm doing this. I didn't need to do this, believe me. I had such a nice life. It was good. The company was good. The family's nice. Everyone's good. I love everybody. I had to do it because I'm so tired of these weak, disgusting, corrupt politicians that we have running our country. That's what it is. They're corrupt. They're corrupt. And remember this. A lot of deals like the Iran deal, but a lot of deals, you think that they're stupid, the politicians, and many of them are. But many of them are just corrupt. They take their PACs, guys put 5 million, 7 million, 2 million, 1 million into Bush's PAC and Hillary's PAC and Marco's PAC and all of these PACs. And frankly, Ted Cruz has, you know, 2 guys that are giving him a fortune. One is oil and one is something else. Remember, ethanol, you're not protected. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you that. But Ted has guys. They're all, but every one of them. They have people that put up millions and millions of dollars. Those people control those candidates, okay? So if it comes to a vote and they need to put up their hand that's good for the country and these people don't want them to do it, they're not doing it, folks, because they want them to be there for the next election. What a politician is really good at is getting reelected and continuously to get to the right source. Remember this. 7 months ago, I was a big donor. I gave $350,000 to the Republican Governors Association. I mean, it was like crazy. I give to everybody. I give to Democrats. I give to everybody. You know why? Because when I want to call somebody, when I need help, I'm a businessman, really successful. I go, everybody likes me. And it's the way the system is. And I don't say it's a good system. And I'm not saying it's even a bad system. I'm only telling you, I'm not taking anything, and I have to do what's right for you. Remember that. I have to do what's right for you. You're the only one I'm working for. And you know, I've always been told that a very successful person can't run for president. I've been told that. And I understand. I've done hundreds of deals, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of deals. That's what I do. My whole life is deals. They're coming out of my ears. They're coming all over. I mean, I did hundreds of deals. And they've been, for the most part, great. And when they were bad, in fact, a couple of guys wrote about a recent deal. When they were bad, I made them good. That's the sign of a good business guy. Sometimes, you know, they're bad because the economy changes. Like Atlantic City. You read about Atlantic City. I made a lot of money in Atlantic City. I mean, I made a lot of money. One of the very smart guys said, Atlantic City, Trump walked away with a fortune. I made a lot of money. Now, I used every single trick in the book and this and that, but you know, if you're on my side, you want to be on my side. Because the economy went bad, the politicians destroyed Atlantic City, lots of bad things, and yet I came out great. The sign of a good businessman is when you take, or woman, is when you take something that shouldn't work and make it good. And I've taken deals, you know, it's very important. I've taken deals where I'd have things in the middle of a depression. All of a sudden, you know, you have a building that's going up, things are great. Then all of a sudden, bing, the politicians or something happens where the world collapses. And you go from having strong times to bad times, and you're in the middle of a project. When you can take those jobs and make them good, that's the sign of somebody that you want on your side. And that's what I do. I make things good. So, and Atlantic City's a story. In fact, they did a story recently on the front page of the Wall Street Journal. It was actually a good story. It said, Trump made a lot of money in Atlantic City. And, you know, people say, oh, I know you did great, but you didn't do great in Atlantic City. I did great in Atlantic City. I made a lot of money. But it was always a fight because it was always behind the 8 ball. The politicians were always making stupid decisions. They didn't fix the airport like they were supposed to. They wasted tens of millions of dollars doing the wrong thing. They built their convention center in the wrong location. I said, don't build it there. Build it on the boardwalk, expand the existing. In the other area where they own some land or whatever, crooked politicians all the time. And, you know, they built it in the wrong location and they destroyed. Atlantic City suffered. But I said, when I saw the stupid moves being made, I did a lot of things. And plus, I got out 7.5, 8 years ago, which was great timing. Actually, the smart people give me a lot of credit. I only tell you these stories because you're about to pick somebody. We're a country that has $19 trillion in debt. We're in trouble. There's a bubble. You see the stock market is starting to, you know, see what's going on, right? Some of these people are shaking their heads like this, yeah, because they're in the stock market. But it's starting to have some very bad weeks and some very bad numbers. I tell you because I'm really good at that stuff. I know Wall Street. I know the people on Wall Street. We're going to have the greatest negotiators in the world, but at the same time, I'm not going to let Wall Street get away with murder. Wall Street has caused tremendous problems for us. We're going to tax Wall Street. We're going to get rid of certain things that they should have, you know, I've been talking about it very strongly, certain things that they want, and they want them badly, and it's not fair to give it to them. And I'm going to, because I don't care about the Wall Street guys, but you know why? Because I'm not taking any of their money. I have had so many calls from the richest people, from the richest guys. You know, they see you're in number 1 in every single place except Iowa where I'm tied. And you're going to change that on February 1st. You're going to change. Everywhere else I'm number 1. Everywhere else. But you're going to change that. I have very little doubt. Very little doubt. But you know, they come to me and they say, Donald, we'd like to give you some money. Where do we send it? I said, you can't send it. They said, what? And I feel sort of like foolish. And the last time I really did this was in Iowa 2 months ago. We had 4,000 people, and I was in an audience, and I said, I feel foolish, because, you know, all of these guys, some are friends, some are enemies. Even my enemies are offering me money. They want to give me anything. Because once you take money, you have a psychological barrier. You know, you have to sort of help them, right? So I'm with this group in Iowa, and it was Iowa, and I tell you, it was an amazing evening. We had a great evening. And then I said to him, listen, I feel a little guilty. All of my life, I've made a lot of money. I've really been good at it. And I take money. That's what I do. I accumulate wealth and money. And I'm offered massive amounts of money by all these guys because I was number 1 then too. And I'm offered all this money, and I'd like to take it because I feel stupid not taking it, to be honest, okay? I feel like President Obama feels, okay? I don't feel good. I don't feel good. I don't feel good about myself not taking it. They're offering me this tens of millions of dollars. By the way, Bush had 128 million. I'd blow him away in one day, I'm telling you. If I took money, I would blow him away. I would have a PAC that would have so much money that it would be like one of the great PACs of all time in history. It would set records, right? So I'm saying to the group in Iowa, I say, so here's the deal I'd like to do. I feel guilty not taking it. It's not my life. My whole life has been doing it. Now I'm saying, no, I don't want it. I promise you, let me take it. And I will be 100% fair. I won't do anything for the people giving me the money. I will be totally loyal to you 100%. Could I have your vote? Oh, listen to this. Oh, the other group was much tougher than you. They stood up and they started booing. Look at that. I have some people that said I could take it. Whoa, I didn't know that. This group stood up and they would say, no, don't take it, don't take it, don't take it. How do you feel about that? Take it or don't take it? Okay, ready? Take it. Take it. Let's go take it, and then we'll go no take it. Ready? So tens of millions. Take it. Do I have one person? Oh, there's a beautiful lady in the front row, and there's a guy with number 25. Who's number 25 that you like? Who is it? Huh? Oh, that's good. All right, so take it. So far, I have 2 people out of 1,700. Is there any more that say take it? In other words, and here's my promise. I'll take the money, and I'll be totally loyal to you. I won't be influenced, right? Anybody else? I have 2 people. So far, I have 2 people on the carbon footprint, and I have 2 people on taking the money. Okay, who says I should not take the money? That's it. I'm leaving Iowa. I'm not taking the money. And you know, it's funny, it was a little bit of awakening, because my people said, and other people from other campaigns said, that really it was interesting. They said, if you actually have the ability to do that, that's an amazing selling point, and it's an amazing point. I said, I have the ability. It's peanuts compared, to what we're talking about. I mean, the bigger money is the fact that I'm not doing any deals. I'm turning away things that I could have made. I'll give you an example. The head of, and this is small time compared to some of them, I turned down a deal in Asia yesterday because they said, I can't go to Asia. How would you feel if I went over to Asia to do groundbreakings? I don't think so. It doesn't work well when you're running for president. Do you agree? Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to build a beautiful building in China. Here's a shovel, and let's do it. And the people of Iowa are going to say, what the hell is he doing in China right now? No, but I'm turning down deals. The head of Comcast, who's a great guy, Steve Burke, his name is. He's a fantastic guy, and one of the great executives of the country. He came to see me just before I announced. He said, Donald, we want to renew The Apprentice. We had great years. I mean, The Apprentice has been one of the great stories and one of the most successful shows. And he said, we'd like to renew it, and please, and we'd like to do it. He came up with the head of NBC. And I said, Steve, I'm going to run for president. And he said, no, don't do it. He said, no, I'm going to run for president. So, nobody believed I was going to do it. It's sort of interesting. My wife said, if you run, you will win. She's my best pollster, right? She said, if you run, she would say it. She said, but you have to actually announce, because nobody believes you're going to run. And Steve Burke didn't believe I was going to run. And he said, no, we want to do it. And they actually announced The Apprentice, which was a little confusing, because they announced The Apprentice is going, and I said, I'm not, because nobody thought I was going to run. And then I have a big chunk of that show, as you know, and with Mark Burnett, and Arnold Schwarzenegger is going to do it, and I hope he does a good job. How do you think Arnold's going to do? Huh? I think so. Okay, ready? Will he do as well as Trump? Honestly, I agree with you. He won't. But he'll do nicely. I hope he does nicely. If he doesn't, I'll say, Arnold, you're fired. No, I think he'll do fine. I hope he does fine. Whatever it is, I'm on to something else, and what we're on to is doing this. But I give up a lot. When you're a politician, you run, and you keep running, and you win some, and you lose some, and you raise money, and you do whatever it is you have to do, and you just keep going. With me, it takes courage to run for president. I've never done this before. And, I stood on the Trump Tower, and I looked down into the atrium, and I saw the largest crowd of press, all these guys back here. I saw the largest number of cameras I think I've ever, it looked like the Academy Awards. And I said to my wife, we really have to do it, because there's so many mistakes that are being made in this country that are simple mistakes that are made out of either incompetence, stupidity, or because of the fact that other people are controlling the process and they want certain things done for their good, not for the good of the country. I said, we have to do it. And a large portion, believe me, a large portion is exactly that third item, a large portion. And I said, we have to do it. So we have now the famous escalator scene where we're coming down the escalator, and I stood there, and we talked about all of the problems, many of the problems of the country. And I'm very, very proud. I mean, that's why I want you to see Time Magazine. I'm very, very proud of what we've been able to do in terms of changing the dialogue, in terms of bringing people on so they're looking at things that they would have never looked at, like the illegal immigration. And then, as you know, 2 weeks ago, I was very, very strong about solving a very deep-seated problem that we have in this country and throughout the world. And that's radical Islamic terrorism. It's a huge problem. It's a huge problem. And I took a lot of heat. I mean, that was a lot of heat that I took. It was incredible. I mean, all over the world. I mean, I've taken heat. And now they're all saying, I'll tell you something. What you've done is amazing, because the whole world is talking about the problem now, and they weren't talking about it. They were accepting things the way they were, And now they're talking about the problem. And I want to get the problem solved. We have to solve that problem. That's an unbelievable problem. There is tremendous hatred and anger there. And, you know, if we don't solve that problem, we're not going to be able to live as a country anymore. You're going to have people, you saw what happened last night with Philadelphia, with the gun shooting. I mean, who ever heard of things like this? It's so many things happening. And we're going to solve the problem, but you can't solve a problem unless you're willing to talk about it and address it. Is that right? I mean, you're not allowed. And we have a president that doesn't even want to say what the problem is. He will not issue the words radical Islamic terrorism. He will not talk about it. He won't talk about it. And I don't even understand why. He's not doing anything wrong by saying it. Look at what happened in Germany with the tremendous crime with New Year's Eve and the rapes and all of the carnage that took place in Germany. And now the German people are rioting in the streets saying, what the hell are you doing to us? We have to solve a problem. And hopefully we can solve it in a really rational, smart way. And I know Muslim people, and they're wonderful people. And one of them, at a very, very high level, called me and said, you've done us a big favor, Donald, because it's a problem that has to be addressed. The hatred is so incredible. It's so incredible. And the danger. I mean, when we have people willing to fly airplanes into the World Trade Center and many other things, we got to solve it. We have to get to the bottom of it. Airplanes blowing up. You look at what's happened over just the last little while. Just last night, you look at what's happening. So we are going to work together with lots of other people. I will say this, that community has to be more open toward us, because the two people where she came over on a fiancé permit or some nonsense, did anybody ever hear this? And she was very radicalized already. And a lot of people said she then came over and radicalized the guy. But people knew what was going on. It wasn't just, they had pipe bombs all over the floor of their apartment. They had pipe bombs all over the place. They had different things all over the place. It wasn't like a normal situation. Other people saw it, and they didn't want to report it. We need help. We have to have people report. And the greatest people are police. Our police are under siege. They're under siege. Our police are not being treated properly. And you have to call your local police and say, you know, I see 24 pipe bombs sitting on the floor of this guy's apartment. That's not too normal, is it? I know they're not going to go farming in Iowa, right? So they have to get out, and they have to, or they're just not against, I mean, they're just not with us, okay? If they're not reporting something like that. But many people knew. I mean, beyond the mother knew. She walked in the apartment all the time. She sees all this stuff. She doesn't report. Well, it's a mother. But the mother has to report. They have to report. They have to report. Your president is what? Well, look, he's got to get smart. He's got to get tough. We got to knock the hell out of ISIS. We got to get rid of him. You know, I was very much against the war in Iraq for a long period of time, since 2003, 2004. In fact, they did headlines, because I said, if you knock out Iraq, you had Iran and Iraq, and they were sort of like equals militarily. And I said, if you knock out one or the other, in this case, if you knock out Iraq, you're going to destabilize the whole Middle East, because Iran is going to come in and take. Now, think of what Iran's done, how brilliant it is. If you own stock in Iran, you'd be very, very wealthy, okay? What happens is this. Iran makes this deal because they're much better negotiators. Kerry's an incompetent negotiator. We don't even have our prisoners back. We don't have anything. So he takes this deal, and he makes this deal, and it's one of the worst deals I think I've ever seen of any kind. We give him $150 billion. $150 billion. We get nothing, right? So he makes this deal. And I've been saying over the last period of time, and first of all, I would have gone in, and this would have, 3 years ago, can you imagine? This is the longest running deal I've ever seen. I would have gone in and said, we want our prisoners back before we start negotiating. And they would have said no, and I would have lifted up, I would have walked out of the room, I would have said, bye-bye, see you sometime, call me when you're ready. I would have left the room, I would have increased the sanctions. They were dying with the sanctions. I would have doubled and maybe even tripled up on the sanctions, and I guarantee you within 48 hours, we would have had a phone call in Washington, D.C., please come, we want to immediately give you back your prisoners, where can we have them delivered, right? That would have been number one. I would have been number one. I would have never in a million years told them about the money up front because I wouldn't give them back. So now we have our prisoners, go home, enjoy your lives, right? Cost nothing. Now I would go back and say, listen, before we start, I want to tell you, we're not giving you back any money. We're a debtor nation. We owe $19 trillion. Say we don't have it. We don't have it. We're not giving you back your money. So let's start negotiating now. So now we have our prisoners, we keep the money. Wouldn't that be nice? And we'll make a good deal. We'll make a good deal. All right? So they made one of the great deals. And you know what? For 2 years I've been talking about this deal, how stupid it is, and how our people are so incompetent. And the way we were treated, even during negotiations, where they're dancing in the streets in Iran, they're dancing and saying how stupid our negotiators are. We haven't made the deal yet. If I ever made a deal and the other side's talking about, I'm stupid, I'm making it terrible, I don't care how good the deal, I'm not making it, right? I mean, the abuse we took during the deal. And now, I don't know if you heard that one of the saddest things, they now want to negotiate, they want to start a brand new negotiation for our prisoners. Do you believe this? They want to negotiate now. Could have had them for the deal. They now want to start a brand, now we don't have sanctions anymore. You're not going to be able to get any of these countries, because remember this, Russia, and Putin likes me. Putin says, Trump is brilliant. I love that when he says I'm brilliant. But Putin said, Trump is brilliant, he's the real leader, blah, blah, blah. Now, I don't know if he means it, if he doesn't mean it, I don't care, I like it, okay? And these characters I'm running against, they think I should disavow his statement. So he calls me brilliant, he says I'm the real leader, I'm the best leader. And sort of, it was interesting, because we were on 60 Minutes together. I was on separately, I didn't meet him, I was here, he was here, and we got great ratings that night, so CBS likes us, right? But we got great ratings. But he made these nice statements. And then you have the people I'm running against saying, disavow the statement. I said, why? I'm going to disavow? He calls me these nice things? I'm not going to disavow anything. Who the hell knows if he means it or not? But if he does or not, I still like it, right? But you know what? We have to be able to get along with the world. So here's what's happening. They now say that they want to start negotiating for our prisoners. But we want a lot. Now, the Persians are great negotiators. So now, we're starting a negotiation to get our prisoners back. And Kerry said he didn't want to bring up the prison. It wasn't like we negotiated and lost the point. Secretary Kerry and President Obama said we didn't want to negotiate for our prisoners because we didn't want to complicate, the word they used, the negotiations. Who the hell, what's complicated? We want our prisoners back. That's complicated, right? You go in, we got to have our prisoners back. Bad for you, bad for everybody. You don't care, your people don't care, they don't even know you have them. We need them. We'll make a better deal because our people won't be so angry, meaning the United States. Give us our prisoners. That's what you say. And I'm telling you, they'll say no, and then you'll do, and then you'll go get them. Okay. But now they want to start a brand new negotiation. And they say, we want a lot. I can't believe it. I get so angry when I see it. I get so angry when I see it. They should have been out 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Frankly, they should have never been there. One's there because he's a Christian minister, he's a pastor. They should have never, ever been there. So I've been saying, but think of this, I've been saying that that's one of the really great deals ever made. And then I said to myself 2 weeks ago, you know what, that's not the greatest deal. They also made the greatest deal. They took over Iraq for nothing. Iraq has the second largest oil reserves in the world. We lost $2 trillion. Incredible, beautiful young soldiers, male and female, young, beautiful soldiers, wounded warriors all over the place. I see them all over. I love them. They're stronger than all of us. The energy, the feel that they have, the life that they have, the smiles. They're always smiling, and they're amazing people. Wounded warriors, no legs, no arms, no, just the worst. I mean, they've been just so badly battered. And we get nothing. We have nothing. Remember I said keep the oil? I said keep the oil. If you're going out, they shouldn't have been there in the first place. You're going out, keep the oil. We have a president that gave him an exact date when we're leaving. So now the enemy says, oh, that's good. Let's pull back for a little while. We'll go in after they leave, right? That's what happened. And you form ISIS. And now ISIS is tough, but not, I mean, tough for our people, not tough for General MacArthur, not tough for General Patton. I mean, we don't have the right people. We don't have the right people. So now they end up taking over the oil. They end up, you know, Iran has second and third largest oil reserves in the world. A lot of people don't know that Iraq has actually the second and third largest oil reserves in the world, and massive oil reserves. We just gave it to Iran. They've been after it for forever. They've been fighting ever since the oldest person in this room was born. They've been fighting, right? Fighting, fighting. They keep fighting, fighting. We just knocked out one. The other one walks in, takes it over, says, thank you very much. And also, by the way, closed the door on the way out. And we're negotiating. And Russia, by the way, is now making them missiles. Everybody that was doing the sanctions, you know, is now participating and taking a lot of the money that we gave. Russia's doing armaments and missiles. Other countries are doing other things. Everybody but us. They won't deal with us. We are run by the stupidest people. It is so hard to believe what's going on with our country. So, the Iran deal is a disaster. Syria is a disaster. You look at what's gone on with Libya. You look at what happened there. The migration started because of Hillary Clinton and because of, and by the way, I forgot to tell you, very big. I love this. Trump, 47, this is last night. Clinton, 44. Trump beats Trump. Good. That's good. That's good. That's good. Iowa, before we said. Okay, CNN, Trump 33, Cruz 20. That's good. I like that one. Then we have, that's good. No, that's good. Oh, I won't read you the one from your paper here, the Des Moines. I don't like that paper. No, it's a dishonest paper. I mean, what do they do? Like take 300-400 votes, and I don't think, I'm sure they'd never take 3 or 4 of them or 10 of them and put them in their pocket. I'm sure that would never happen. But that one, and I'm not even down by much. I'm down by, and then I'm winning in another one, winning in another one. The other one came out last night, and that's pretty even. It's like statistically tight. So we've got to win Iowa. Oh, we got to win it. Okay, so we're going to win it. Okay. Otherwise, I'll tell you what. Otherwise, we're wasting our time, folks. We're wasting our time. I'm going to be a nice footnote, because they're all saying, even the Time magazine, he said, what an incredible job. Makes no difference if he wins or loses. What an incredible job. I don't want to be. We either win or we lose. There's nothing else. There's no like, he did a great job. It's like in baseball. He did really good, but they lost the game 1-0. Okay, what difference does it make? No, nobody knows. I think she's found that very funny. So we have a couple of, one of the things that I like about speaking randomly and off the cuff is that we can talk about things that happened 15 minutes ago. And there's no teleprompter, right? We don't have teleprompters. And we don't have speeches. We don't have speeches. I'd love to read a speech. It would be so easy. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being here. I love Iowa very much. It's great. Pa, 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 right? We don't do that. We speak from the heart and we speak from the brain. I'm fortunate. I'm fortunate to have a very good memory, so I can do this, but and I do get certain credit for it, but the beauty is that we can speak about current events, because if you have to go to a speechwriter and a pollster and then have them write 4 or 5 extra paragraphs, that's no good. So you look at North Korea. So we talk about Iran, and that's a disaster. But they don't have nukes yet. They will have them, by the way, unless I get to be president. If I get to be president, I promise you folks, they won't have them. And Israel is the biggest target, and they'll be very happy. They'll be very happy. Because Obama totally sold Israel out. He totally sold Israel out. But if you look at North Korea, this guy, he's like a maniac, okay? And you got to give him credit. How many young guys, he was like 26 or 25 when his father died, take over these tough generals, and all of a sudden, it's pretty amazing when you think of it. How does he do that? Even though it is a culture and it's a cultural thing, he goes in, he takes over, and he's the boss. It's incredible. He wiped out the uncle, he wiped out this one, that one. I mean, this guy doesn't play games, and we can't play games with him, because he really does have missiles, and he really does have nukes. And here's what we do. We tell China, we rebuilt China. They have taken so much of our money with trade. They have taken everything. They have taken our jobs, our money. They've taken our base. They've taken so much. And literally, it's one of the great thefts in the history of the world, what they've done to our country, because we've had people that don't have any idea. By the way, go ahead, you can clap, I don't mind. One of the magazines said, Trump's a great speaker, but he has one problem. He speaks through his applause. meaning I'll say something like that, I'll get applause, but you know why? Because I'm so excited about what we're all doing together and the future of the country that I don't want to hear your applause. I just want to give you the next because I know exactly what I'm going to say. Forget the applause. But I really mean it. It's such an exciting thing that we're doing together. And whether I go to Dallas, where we had 21,000 people in the arena, in the Mavericks arena, Mark Cuban was great to us. Whether we go to Mobile, Alabama, no matter where we go, Oklahoma, we had 20,000. We had more, I think much more than that. We had this huge field. We had a big convention center. And after about 2 hours, we realized that wasn't going to work. They formed in a huge field, thousands and thousands of people. We're all the same. You know, we're all the same. We all want the same thing. It's amazing what's going on in the country. It really is. It's amazing. It's amazing. And, you know, you can call it a silent majority. You know, they say, oh, you shouldn't use that word because, I don't know, I guess it had connotations from many years ago with Nixon and this and that. But I don't even use the word. I say it's a noisy majority. It's no longer silent. We're fed up with what we're seeing, and we've become we're really a noisy majority. And believe me, we are a majority if you get out and vote. If you don't get out and vote, like last time, Obama should have lost. He was a failed president, doing a terrible job. And in all fairness, Mitt, I don't know what the hell happened. I said, why aren't you on television? Why aren't you doing Jay Leno? Why aren't you doing David Letterman? Why aren't you doing these shows? Because say what you want about Obama, he was on every show, he was on everything. And I say this, we're going to win. One of the reasons we're going to win is I think Hillary will probably, look, she shouldn't be allowed to run, okay? Oh, would I love to run against Obama. Oh, she shouldn't be. And some really bad stuff came out last night. I don't know if you saw it, but basically last night she admitted that she's totally aware of what the hell's going on and she knows how to play the game pretty well. But she shouldn't be allowed, look, she shouldn't be allowed to run. But on the assumption that they say because they're Democrats right now, that let's just close our eyes, close our ears, even though they destroyed General Petraeus and many other people who did far less than she did. On the assumption that she runs, I don't think she has the strength or the stamina. She comes in, and you need a president, whether it's a nice thing or not, to say, we can't play games anymore. She'll come in to see Iowa. She'll come into Iowa, and she'll see people, and they'll have around the little plastic table, a few people that have been vetted by 400 people, and they'll get these kids, oh, Mrs. Clinton, what do you have for breakfast? Oh, do you like oatmeal? Yes, I do. Oh, great. And then she'll leave, and she'll wave, and then she goes away for a week. You don't see her. One thing with me, hey, I'm leaving here, I'm going to another place. We're going to do the same thing all over again, okay? Oh, strength, stamina. We need strength and stamina. Look, it's like I said about Jeb Bush. This guy's got no energy. We need energy. We need energy. He's a low-key individual. But we need energy because we've got ISIS. We've got borders that are a mess. We've got Obamacare everything's a mess. We don't have victories anymore. We don't win anymore. We're going to start winning. We're going to win so much that you're going to sick and tired. You're going to say, please, please, Mr. President, we're sick and tired of winning. Please let us have at least one loss. It's no longer exciting to win. And I'm going to say, no way. We're going to keep winning, and I don't care if you like it or not. We're going to win. Oh, we're going to win. I like to win. I like to win. So I just want to leave you with this. You do have a problem, and you have a big problem with North Korea. And we're going to talk to China, and we're going to get along great with China. You know, I love China because they buy my apartments. They spend me, you know, fortunes in Manhattan. They give me millions and millions of dollars for these apartments, and they're great. The biggest bank in the world is a tenant of mine in one of my buildings. Biggest bank, by far. I mean, when I talk about big, we're talking about seriously big. Citibank is like a little subsidiary compared to this bank. And they make a tremendous amount of money with the United States, as we've been talking about. We're going to go there and we're going to say, you got to take care of the Korea problem. You got to take care of it. Everything comes through China. And they tell our people, because our people are novices, but they say, well, we don't have that much control. They have total control. They wouldn't eat. They wouldn't live without China. And China's massive. Everyone's afraid over there of China. China can handle the problem. I want them to handle it. We don't have to handle everything. We handle everything. We don't have to. I will get China to handle the problem. If they don't handle the problem, we'll have to take it up on trade. You know, it's going to be very costly for them if they don't handle the problem, but I wouldn't say that because I would never want to threaten anybody, okay? Never. Under any circumstances, I never want to threaten. So I won't threaten them. I'm just telling you that they will do it, and they should do it. And frankly, they have a bigger problem than we do because they're right next door. And Japan has to help us out because they are really, I mean, you know, they're very suspect. They would be, look at what's going on over there. They're already sending planes to find out what's happening. And South Korea has to help us out because we're defending South Korea. We're defending all these people. We need help. We need help. We're powerful. But I want to make our military very much more powerful. I want to make it so powerful, so tough, so strong that nobody's ever going to mess with us, folks. It's the cheapest thing we can do. It's the cheapest thing we can do. And I'll tell you this. I know all the politicians. Many of the people that I'm running against, I've contributed to. I've had notes and letters from some of these people. Oh, thank you so much for the money you sent. Many of the people, it's embarrassing on the stage. Almost most of them, I've contributed to. I said to them the other day, I said, you know, that one, yes, that one, yes, that one, yes. It's like almost all of them in some form. And I said to myself, isn't it ridiculous? I'm running against these people. I've contributed to all of them. I understand politicians better than anybody. They're never going to get you to the promised land, folks. They're never going to take you there. They're never going to solve the problem of the border. They're never going to get you the wall. Now they're starting to say, well, we should build a wall. Remember this. Every time somebody says, we should build a wall, please think about me, okay? Just think about me. And they won't build it. And by the way, they won't build it because they wouldn't know where to start. They're not going to build a wall. But they got to talk it because they're seeing that there's been a fever for Trump and for the wall and for the border. And when CNN did their recent poll, who is the best on ISIS? Trump, by a vast majority. I'm talking about by close to 50%. And you have 14 or 15 people, and I'm getting 50%. Who's best on ISIS? Who's best on terrorism? Trump, by a vast majority, close to 50%. Who's best on the economy? That one I would expect. I'm way, way up, way over 50%. I think over 60%. Well, it's true. Who's best on jobs? Trump. I will be the greatest jobs president that God ever created. That I can tell you. That I can tell you. And we are going to be, and it's so important, we're going to be a respected country again. We're not going to be laughed at. We're not going to be smirked at. People aren't going to think of our leaders as being stupid people. We're going to be respected again. Mexico's going to respect us, and we're going to respect them too. And we're going to get along with them just fine. But they can't keep taking Ford and Nabisco and so many of the companies that you have even in Iowa. And New England was wiped out. You take a look at New England, what's happened there. Can't work that way. You know, these deals have to be a double-sided deal. I'm a free trader. But I also want smart trade. It's got to be smart. And that doesn't mean we have to take advantage of others, but it's got to be at least fair. So these things are going to happen. Carl Icahn, one of the great businessmen, and so many others have called me. They'd like to get involved. If I took a Carl Icahn, and if I took some of the others, all of whom you've heard of, these are the greatest in the world. We have the greatest in the world. And if I say, Carl, take a look at China, trade with China. I want to make it fair because they bring things over to us, no tax, no nothing. You want to do business over there? It's almost impossible. And by the way, they tax the hell out of you when you send your product. Not supposed to be that way. It's not supposed to be that way. It's supposed to be a fair deal, but it's not a fair deal. I could tell you 100 stories. It's not a fair deal. So when I take somebody like Carl and other of the great business people, they don't want money. They don't want a salary. They're rich. They made a lot of money because they're smart, because they have that ability to negotiate and make deals. When I take Carl and say, do me a favor, you watch over our trade with China. In a very short period of time, you people are going to be very happy because that's the way it works. Because we're really good at what we do. And honestly, I play with these people. Every single debate, I'm not a debater. I've won every debate, according to the polls. I mean, I've won every debate. The last debate, no, and you don't hear that from these crooked, You don't hear that from these crooked guys like Karl Rove. He's a totally dishonest guy. You don't hear that. They don't talk about that. And you know, Krauthammer and others, although Krauthammer's getting better, I must say. He's coming a long way. He's doing much better. But these, Karl Rove, I mean, some of these people are so, George Will, take his little spectacles away, he's a stupid person. I'm telling you, without, no, remember the war? You must go in and attack immediately. Now, what do we have in Iraq? Okay, attack immediately. Take a look at his record. It's a horrible record. And I really mean it. Take those little spectacles away, and he doesn't look like a smart person. With the spectacles, he looks smart. But every debate. So when I came out, I said, let's see, I debate. They said, how do you think you'll do the first debate? I said, I've never done it before. What do I know? I've never done it before. And then Drudge, who's a fantastic man, by the way, but Drudge, and you have Slate, and you have CBS, and you have all these polls come down. I mean, all great polls. Time Magazine has a poll. Online poll right after. I've won every single poll of every single company for every single debate. And I'm not a professional debater, and they have hundreds of thousands of people. But I tell it like it is. I tell the truth. I tell it like it is. And I know how to fix our country. And you know what? If I don't make it, I'm going to love you folks just as much. And honestly, if I don't win on February 1st, if you people don't do what you should do, because I'm telling you, I'm going to make America great again. But if you don't do it, I will still love the folks in Iowa. Maybe not. No, I will still love the people in Iowa, because I've developed so many friendships. But I just think so important. We're going to make America great again on February 1st. You have to get to that caucus. You have to go out, do a job. And we're going to bring you friends. You know, don't sit home. Don't sit home. Get out there. It's so important. I think it's one of the most important elections we've ever had, because our country is going to hell, and we're going to turn it around, and we're going to make it so great again. And we're going to make it, in my opinion, we have a chance to make it greater and better than ever before. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you very much.